Okay, back in the shed with the booster. Not the brakes this time. Brakes are done. Brakes are perfect. It's the grips. Now, when I bought this, I got Alfs to fit Oxford heated grips, because I use my bikes all year round and I like to wear my summer gloves pretty much all year round. So I wanted heated grips, and I do find that the Oxford ones are some of the best. They get too hot for your hands, which can only be good because you can turn them down, whereas if they were too cold for your hands, then you couldn't turn them up anymore. But yes, the Oxford ones, top notch. I've got them on all my bike, well, apart from the new bike I've just bought. And if you don't know the new bike I just bought, go and watch the video. So I got them to fit them, and as it says in the instructions, this plastic collar here should have been trimmed off. Any raised portions of the throttle tube should be trimmed off, and then this grip would move towards this. Now obviously you don't want it up against where the controls are, or else you wouldn't have that ease of movement. But this ridge definitely needs to be chopped off, and then it would be closer to the handlebar. And all this portion on the end here, this raised section, is your trim area. So the electrodes, the heating electrodes, don't come to this end piece here, so you can trim that off. So if you need to trim anything off, you've got a bit there to trim it back. So that, combined with probably a little bit of this, would make it level with the handlebars. So shoddy work, and as you can see, they're coming off. So I don't know whether they actually put the glue on. So I'm going to bung some glue on there. This one's got to come off. There you go. That's how easy it is to pull off. So that one's got to come off. Well, they're both. I think that one will do. I'll put a splodge of glue on there. It's not too bad because of this hatch work on the Renthal bars. It's not too bad on there. It definitely wants a bit of glue on there. But obviously the one you don't want moving is the throttle side, and I've got to take it off, as I say, to get rid of this ridge bit here, so I can push it almost flush. So yeah, shoddy workmanship, definitely shoddy workmanship. But there you go. So first of all, I'm going to pull this off. I'm going to loosen the wiring a bit, pull this off, and then start trimming this down. So this is the ridge I was on about. This first one, there is sort of a collar just inside that one. I don't know whether you can see that. Just in between the control unit and this high raise ridge, there is a small one there, which you've got an indent on. But as I say, I don't want it tight up against this, or else it will interfere with the smooth throttle control. So I'm just going to get my Dremel, take this high collar off, which will get me back to about there. And as you can see, as I say, probably just this end section here where the groove is will need cutting off, and I can stick it on, because I've got some little bar ends to go on, just little black ones, just to finish the handlebar. So yeah, I'll get the Dremel and chop them edges off. Might be needing a new throttle tube soon, we shall see. Okay, so that's the ridge taken off. I've Dremeled that right the way round, so no ridge in the way now, so the grip should push right the way up. I'll do a test fit, but as you can see, there's no signs of glue or anything on here, so not impressed. They've just thrown them on, which is terrible. Terrible. Right, let's see how far this goes now. Right, there you go. So that second collar there now is butted up against that, which gives plenty of clearance for the throttle. And as I say, this probably just wants that last, this just wants that last edge there probably taken off. Okay, so these are the bar ends. They're nothing special, they're cheap but just to finish it off, and it should be Renpful happy. And there you go, it just finishes it off rather than having that emptiness to it. Might need a washer behind it to stop it binding up on the throttle, but I'll trim off that edge first and see what I'm left with. And so I don't really want any of the bar showing, but because these are so flat, it might just need a washer in there just to pull it out that little bit, but we'll see. More chopping. Master of zoom. Missed exactly where I wanted to see. There we go, somewhere there. Let's try that. And if you're using a Dremel, watch out for molten rubber flicking up in your face. Oh dear. It's an education, it really is. Right. Pull that back a little bit. I think I will just use a washer on there. Yeah, let's get a washer. Right, I've not actually got a washer to go in there, so at the moment I'll just leave a gap there. But that's working right. It's because when you twist it, the throttle tube actually comes out slightly, so it definitely needs a washer on it. And I haven't got any anywhere, so that'll do for the moment. But it looks cleaner than no bar end. Right, now take it all apart again and glue the right, so take it all apart again and glue the grip on, which is the important bit. That was the bit I really wanted to get done. Glue the grip on so it wasn't moving around. It wasn't so much this side. It was the clutch side. The actual electronics would move round and stop you pulling the clutch fully in. So they both need doing. But while I'm at it, I'll put them cheap bar ends on. Right, where was I? Right, glue. So this will be where I managed to stick it halfway on the throttle tube. That'd be hilarious, wouldn't it? Ooh. Oh. And then the grip itself will spread it out. That is it on. They reckon 24 hours to dry that as well before you use it. Good enough. I'll need something to grip the body of this and then do the bolt up. Okay, so that's the finished article. I've over trimmed it a little bit, so it's a bit mullered, but I've got a bar end, I've got a throttle that works, I've got a grip that is stuck. What it was actually the throttle tube. There's a little tiny nuggin of plastic sticking out this end and I didn't notice it, and it was the one thing I didn't trim off. So I trimmed this back a bit too much before I discovered it. But it's there and it works. Looks a bit neater. Right, now just to glue the other side and get the bar end on over there as well. And of course this end doesn't matter with the trimming or anything, because you're not worried about, well, the last thing you want really is that for turning, that turning. So I'll just stick the bar end on. Or shall I trim it anyway? Let's stick the bar end on and see what it looks like. Oh, it's gnawed it a bit. You get. And it's a little bit cockeyed. Oh well. Get some black Tipex. The trouble with buying stuff for £2 off of eBay, you can't expect the finish to be all that. Gives it character. That old adage, yeah, bit of character, that's never going to work. Well, it's on there. I'll just order another set and swap that one over and have a spare. But there you go, that's my grips done. Now to discover what else they haven't done. Only kidding. Going to be needing a new tyre on the front soon, and I think I will get a bearing set to go on there. As I said, well, I didn't say, but the bike's done 45,000 miles, and what I'm discovering is there wasn't as much maintenance as perhaps there should be, and I'm not the world's best for maintenance, to be honest, but there are bits now that are making me a little bit unsure about it. Not unsure, just, I don't know. It's an old bike, it's done a lot of miles, and it's starting to show its age, and it's starting to show that possibly some of the appropriate work wasn't done. When I did the brakes, I meant to take the front wheel off and have a look at what was going on in there, but I didn't, because it took me so long to do the brakes. I just wanted to get back out on the road as per normal, very impatient, and yeah, I just feel as though if I'm going to put a tyre on there, I just will have a proper look, put bearings in it. There's no record of it ever having wheel bearings, so 45,000 miles, let's stick some in there for the sake of, I don't know what a bearing kit is, 20 quid, 10 quid, especially on your front. But no, apart from that, the old rocket's going like a rocket, which is what it's meant to do. Absolute beast. Highly recommend getting one before the prices go up too much as well, because they are starting to get ridiculously expensive. I think there's similar ones out there now on, this is an 08, and you can see them on 08 plates, 07s, 06s, and they're going 4.5, 5 grand. And this was what, 3.5, and got and got bits fitted free, or bits almost fitted free. But yeah, highly recommend getting one. It's a Hayabusa. Everybody knows what it is. It's iconic. It's dirty, that's for sure. But it is quite the machine, quite the absolute beast. So get one and go and play.